Hi, hello. So I've been thinking, I have all of these characters on my account. There's like 31 5-stars in the game. Surely I'm not using all of them all the time. And so I thought, why don't I make a video about my favorite characters, as well as talk about some of the 5-stars that I regret pulling for. Well, regret is a strong word since I have to create content around new characters. And I have to pull all of them, but after the review is done, some of them do get benched for a very long time, until I decide, to make a new video about them. But yeah, don't take this video too seriously. I'm not following any kind of script, just giving you my thoughts. And I honestly don't have any personal problems against any of the characters. But I think this video will be interesting to watch as I go through my thought process, like why I chose to play some of these characters more often compared to others. But before we get into the video, a huge shout out to Prime Gaming for sponsoring this entire video. And it's not like they're just sponsoring. Prime Gaming and Genshin Impact are both really awesome, and you can get free stuff from Prime Gaming for your Genshin account. As you can see, I already claimed my Genshin bundle from Prime Gaming, and you can either use my link in the description or just head on over to gaming.amazon.com, search up Genshin Impact, and just activate the free trial that they're offering. I mean, literally you're getting free stuff for 7 days, and you don't have to pay anything if you decide to do so. And there's a ton of more benefits that Prime Gaming offers. You can get a monthly Twitch sub to one of your favorite streamers, and all you have to do is just connect your Twitch account with Prime Gaming. There's like tons of free games and in-game content you can get. I don't know if you're like me, but I like to play a lot of different games, and Prime Gaming has often like these great bundles for these games as well. And of course, there's also other Prime benefits you can get, like free Prime shipping and Prime Video streaming service. I mean, honestly, just try out the free subscription, and make sure to go and claim the free Genshin bundles. Right now, I'm on bundle 6 out of 8, and this bundle gives me 1 Fragile Resin, 20,000 Mora, 8 Mystic Enhancement Ores, and as you can see, the code is being displayed here, but I already used it. So it's really simple, just activate Prime Gaming membership, collect the Genshin bundle, and use the code on your account. So yeah, just don't forget to use Prime Gaming, use my link in the description, or use my link in the pinned comment, and don't miss out on some free Genshin stuff. Okay, so the structure of the video is going to be pretty simple. I'm not going to talk about too much about the 4-stars, since usually you pull on the banner for the 5-star. However, in the first segment, I'm going to talk about the 5-stars that I've been using actively for the past few months. Then I will talk about the 5-stars I've been using a lot, but stopped recently. And then I will talk about the 5-stars that I rarely use, or have never really used after just doing a review. Okay, so let's first talk about the first 5-star I've been using a lot, and it's Keqing. I didn't really enjoy her playstyle before Dendro, because most of the time you had to run her with Pyro, and I really hated the overload reactions causing the enemies to get knocked away from Keqing, so the playstyle to me felt really clunky, but obviously with Dendro she became like super smooth to play, and overall I'm just super happy to use her because she has her own costume, she's a standard 5-star who are usually not really popular to use, and yeah, I won't lie, I also like the damage she outputs. Now the next one I've been using a lot, to my own surprise, is Zhongli. I know that a lot of people believe that Zhongli is super popular on mobile, and that he's a very forgiving character to use for people with low skill level, like whatever that means. To me personally, like Zhongli is just a character that I use because I want some comfort. Like he still remains so relevant even to this day, because even when I had to do the review for Wanderer, because of his like low stagger resistance, like Zhongli was a blessing for him, and thanks to his shield's resistance shred, he's like a really universal pick you can just put into any team. Now another character that really surprises me that I'm using so much is Itto. Like the thing about Itto is that you do need a dedicated team to play him. Like Goro and Zhongli are almost essential to play with him, but once you have a mono Geo team going, I don't even remember a single Abyss where I couldn't just use it on one of the sides. Like even now, you can easily use a mono Geo team on the first side of floor 12. So yeah, Itto is super fun to use. Bit of a bummer that this guy is a bit of anemic, like he doesn't have the muscles or it's not beefy enough. Hopefully he gets patched one day with like a different costume where he's like more muscly, I guess. Obviously, this next character comes without a surprise, it's Yelan. Like, she's so OP, it's not even funny. And the thing is, I don't even have any constellations unlocked for her because I don't need to. I love the fact that you can use on her like Elegy for the End if you want to use some pay-to-win options, but you're also perfectly fine running just Favonius Warbow as well. And I constantly use her in so many different teams, ranging from Dendro to Melt to basically even Freeze if I want to. So yeah, she's been a no-brainer choice for me for a long time now. And since we're on the topic of Hydro characters, Ayato is also one of my most used characters these days. I don't know, maybe I just don't like to think too much, but Ayato's playstyle is just so nice. Like, literally, you just press the skill button, and he just slashes the enemies like in front of him, and they're gone. For world exploration, it's so easy to clear the trash mobs all the time, and surprisingly, he's also super flexible. Now, the next one that I've been using for a very long time is Raiden Shogun, and she's the only 5-star on my account who has the 3rd constellation unlocked. Like, none of the other 5-stars has more than 1 or 2 constellations unlocked. She's the only one with the 3rd constellation. And I think it was kind of stupid to unlock it because these days I don't even actually use her as a regular damage dealer. Like yeah, she has the catch equipped on her right now because you can use her her just as a Hyper Bloom bot, and that's it. Although in this latest Abyss, I am actually using the Raiden Rational team to clear the first side of the floor 12, and yet again I get reminded like, why is this team so powerful and why I love Rational team and Raiden's performance here. But going back to some more Hydro supremacy, Kokomi is also somebody I've been using a lot, probably because of Nilo, but she's also been used so much in freeze teams, and even then she's still level 80. I don't know why I haven't bothered to level her to level 90. I think I will do this after the video, because I do have enough of those pearls so I don't have to run around like crazy. And also, level 90 does increase the transformative reaction damage, which is usually what she does when you're running in Nilo teams, so yeah. But yeah, the Jellyfish Girl, I'm super happy to use her all the time. Oh, and yeah, I do have the Everlasting Moonglow weapon, also known as the Donut Catalyst. This is probably the single biggest regret I have on my account for pulling this crappy weapon. But hey, Baiju's coming out, so maybe it will work nicely on him. Now, Nilo is also somebody I've been using so much. I actually love the fact that Hoyoverse created a character who completely changes how a reaction works. And yeah, since her teams are really restrictive, since you can only use Hydro and Dendro characters, I think with the amount of Dendro characters that got released recently, since you know Kaveh and Baiju are coming out, I also saw the new Dendro Cat Girl just got announced, so there's like a lot of mixing and matching you can do with Nilo teams. But moving over, Nahida is a character that I've been using so much, I'm actually kind of getting sick of her. I mean, I'm kidding, but like she's in almost every single Dendro team I try to build. It just never feels right to have a Dendro team without Nahida, and moreover, I just like the fact that you can take pictures of the enemies, and you can just spin around like crazy by holding down the skill, and then you can just swap out and don't even think about her. Or, if you want to, you can also play her on field, so it's fun both ways. But the character that I've been playing the most is Alhaitham. I don't know why, but I just really enjoy his playstyle. Ever since he got released, I've been using him on my every single daily task. And the funny thing about it is that I believe a lot of content creators, maybe including myself, we overestimated his burst. Like, yeah, you can gain mirrors from his burst and then continue doing Dendro damage from his attacks, but you can also gain 3 mirrors by just using his skill and charge attack or plunge attack. And normally it's enough time to clear the ads and the skill resets. He's kind of like Ayato, he's also really good at clearing the trash mobs as well. And since I use him the most, one team that I love running right now is Nahida, Alhaitham, Xingqiu, and Cookie. And yeah, overall, these are all the characters that I've been using a lot recently. You've probably noticed that most of these characters are either Dendro or Hydro, and that's because it's mostly a new playstyle for me that's been really fun to use. You know, Freeze and Melt has existed since the game's inception, and I really find Dendro teams to be a refreshing take on Genshin's team building, which is why now I want to talk about the characters that I've been using a lot, but stopped recently, or just haven't used them that much. And the first one is Child. I don't even remember when was the last time I used Child International team in Abyss. I actually really like Child, because this might be a coincidence, but the Hoyoverse are releasing a new Hydro set that works perfectly on Child. So I'm definitely going back to Child once the set drops and equip him with it, just to see how good it is compared to the older set. And also, my Child is C0, and I will never ever pull any copies of him, because I just don't feel the need to, and he's fun at C0, and I think that's one of the best selling points about him. Now, Hu Tao is also somebody I stopped using recently, and I actually kind of feel bad because she's like so powerful. I have her first constellation unlocked, so I don't have to do the jump canceling. But the funny thing about her is that before 3.0, even before 3.1 I think, I've been using her in Funirational, which is a team made up of Hu Tao, Xiangling, Yelan, and Xingqiu. I've been using this team like a lot, but I don't know, I probably stopped using her because I'm just favoring the Dendro teams right now, even though she's absolutely busted, and I really enjoy her playstyle. Now, believe it or not, but Albedo is somebody who I used a lot. He's actually one of the few 5 stars where I have the second constellation unlocked, because if I remember correctly, the second constellation kinda lets him move away from the split scaling, and now his burst actually deals decent amount of damage. And yeah, he has the Cinnabar Spindle, which is the event weapon, which I'm really mad about because Hoyoverse is not releasing it to other players if they miss the event. But the reason why I stopped using him is that it really depends if I bring out Ito. And if I do, sometimes I like to use him, but there are some bosses who just destroy his flower that he puts on the ground, like the Mago Kenki boss, and it's really annoying to play around that. But what's nice about him is that I think he's kind of universal. Even though he will have energy issues if he's the only Geo character, I still think the fact that you can redeploy his flower and cause the damage to the enemies is kind of cool. And you know, his own personality is just like such a sweetheart, so I really like him. Now, here's another shocking reveal. Kazuha is not somebody who I use all the time. I know, right? This guy is absolutely amazing for so many different teams. I think the only reason why I'm not not using him as much as before is because I'm just so hyper invested into Hyper Bloom and Burgeon teams, and the only time I bring him out these days is when I'm using Kaching, or if I decide to run some kind of a freeze team. But don't get me wrong, Kazuha is super versatile. Once I get a bit bored from running Dendro teams, he is definitely going to be used in a lot of different comps, and especially when a new Hydro, Pyro, Cryo, or Electro character comes out, and they will benefit from boosting their elemental damage, obviously Kazuha is going to be in the first place to be used. Now, I already mentioned this a few moments ago, but I haven't been using Freeze that much, which means I haven't been using Ayaka that much, because she's basically the face of Freeze, at least for me, and I feel like these past few Abyss cycles, Freeze has been getting the short end of the stick. Maybe it's because, yet again, I'm just addicted to playing like Dendro teams. It's just that I haven't been using her that much. Now, Tignari, you would think that because I love Dendro teams, I have been using him a lot, but the reality is, because he's like a quick swap character that you can't really use to create like bloom reactions, and he's more like a guy who specializes in spread damage. At first, I used him a lot because I thought I liked spread teams, but now I feel like something is missing. I know I talked about one of those teams where there was Kokomi and EM Raiden, but still, I feel like he needs some kind of a support to help him out. He's good, but the spread damage and the way the playstyle revolves around playing other characters, I think there's something that needs to be added for me to fully enjoy his playstyle. Although, because he's also in the standard banner right now, I always wish I could lose my 50-50 and get one of his constellations, because I think out of all standard banner characters, he has the best growth with his constellations, and I really wish I could start losing 50-50s and gaining his constellations. Now you're probably gonna think I'm crazy, but I actually enjoyed playing Dia. The thing about her is that her burst is super limiting because it costs so much, and the way you gain energy with her is also super limiting. However, in open world, when I give her the Favonius Greatsword and give her the Emblem Force set, basically all the time I encounter trash mobs, I basically just use the burst, smash them away, and you know, not in a sad way where she's like struggling to beat a Hydro Slime, but yeah, she gets the job done, and I just feel super disappointed that Hoyoverse decided to give her this kind of treatment, because she's actually fun to play, and also she's a Pyro character, which is one of my favorite elements in the game, and I cannot think of a good reason why they decide to balance her this way. Now, this guy is a bit tricky, because I actually do not really enjoy the Wanderer's playstyle, but the fact that he can fly is what really convinces me to put him into teams when I'm doing world exploration. It's really a personal thing, I just don't really enjoy his playstyle, but I know there's a lot of awesome people out there, and I've watched some videos of him like shredding the enemies away, but regardless, I consider him to be a really cool character to use for like world exploration, while for the Abyss, or when I'm making some videos and trying to create some showcases, I try to stay away from him. You know, maybe I will also make like a new video about him, just an updated review, or find some kind of a way I can have fun with his playstyle. And now, finally, we're moving onwards to the characters that I barely use. So, starting with the first one, it's Venti. Like, this guy has been with me since the game's launch. I used him so much until like 2.0, maybe even until in the middle of Inazuma, but then something happened. Like, I'm not using him at all. Even though in this current Abyss, you can actually utilize his Vortex. But maybe the fact that I have Kazuha, and there's also a lot of Dendro teams that you can choose from. However, I do believe that for beginners, he's still insanely good, especially going through floors 1 through 8. He's going to make everything an absolute cakewalk, and he's still super good in a lot of limited events. So just because I'm not using Venti myself that much, doesn't mean he's not good. He's still really good. But one thing that pisses me off about him is that I have his first constellation unlocked, and I feel so bad about it. Why does it exist? Like, how? Why would Hoyoverse create this kind of a constellation for him? The only time it was useful was back when one of those monster events had those balloon challenges. That was the only time when it was useful to use it. Now, I think this next one is really unsurprising. It's Klee. Most people will agree that her playstyle is a bit clunky. Like, I know we can utilize her walk canceling and start dealing a lot more normal attacks, but to me, that's an unnecessary step that I have to take just to enjoy a character, and I feel kind of bad that she just sits there on my account. Now, I think Ganyu doesn't deserve to be here, because actually once per week, I am using her to beat the weekly boss. Her charge shots and her burst are excellent at clearing those annoying things that you need to take care of and gather enough energy and then shoot at the boss. But besides that, it might have something to do with the fact that I got burnt out from using her during the early days in Genshin. Just when she launched, I played her like crazy. I used her in so many different Morgana variations. Maybe I'm just burnt out from using her so much. So if you're thinking that I'm not using her because she's weak, that's not the case. She's still super relevant, but for freeze teams, I just simply prefer using Ayaka because to me the rotation just feels smoother and more satisfying to do. Next one on the list is the Pogo Stick Emo Boy. Now, the reason why I don't play Xiao is because he's really tall. That's basically it. No, but seriously, I think I'm also suffering from the same burnout that I had with Ganyu, and he's like one of those old school units that I used to play a lot few years ago, but because there's constantly new shiny toys coming out, I just don't really find the time to like use him in my teams. That's basically it. I have nothing against him. Now, Eula actually killed off my Razor. Now, back in the early Gacha gamer days, I used to be a Razor main, and Eula completely eliminated him when she got introduced. She is somebody that I used a lot right before Inazuma. But again, just like Ganyu and just like Xiao, I kinda outgrew her. And you know what? After playing with Mika and Eula, I just don't think I find physical damage dealers interesting that much. Maybe it's because there's lack of reactions, or maybe because I used to play Razor 24/7 back when Genshin launched. Like, literally, he's the only character on my account who's triple crowned. And ironically enough, Razor can now be played like in Dendro teams, unlike Eula. So I don't know, personally I feel like there's something missing about her. Her playstyle over the couple of years hasn't really evolved for me, and I think that Hoyoverse really needs to introduce a better support than just Mika for her. And also, one thing that I really regret is getting the Song of Broken Pines. Like, this weapon for her is just so niche, and because right now I have Mika, using Mika with Wolf's Gravestone Eula is better for me. But still, I think if you like her, and you can see yourself enjoying physical damage comps, then go for her. Although, good luck waiting for her rerun, because Hoyoverse seem to be bent on not getting her rerun. Now, the only reason why Yoimiya is rarely played is because I actually used her a lot with Double Hydro Team, which is Yelan and Xingqiu, but then once I discovered Funirational, which is with Hutao, this is literally the only reason why I neglect Yoimiya. So yeah, maybe if more Hydro characters come out, and they can apply Hydro off-field, I'll probably start playing Yoimiya a lot more. Now, Shenhe is also a really easy explanation why I don't use her that much, and it mostly has to do with the fact that I don't play Freeze or Mono Cryo that much, so if I'm not using those teams, Shenhe is also not utilized. Now, moving over to the last few characters, I'm just gonna be honest with you about Yaimiko. I am just ignoring her for no good reason. I know she got buffed with Dendro, and she's literally one of the few characters where I have zero explanation why I'm not using her. I think once the next rerun gets announced, I'm definitely gonna make a dedicated video just to fully explore her potential, and I'm really hoping what usually happens with me when I'm making new videos is that after I extensively research and record the footage about the character, I just start using them in my daily activities. Finally, let's talk about Sino. So I think the main reason why I'm not using Sino that much is because all of his damage lies in the burst, and when I'm doing the world quests or just exploring, it's a bit annoying to keep recharging his energy. And when I'm doing the Abyss, usually Nahida wants to be in some other team that I can utilize her. I think that once Baiju comes out, I'm probably going to be using him a lot more, so there's going to be like a dedicated Dendro support that he needs, and I will get to enjoy two characters at the same time, which will be Baiju and Sino. But yeah, that's basically it. That's all the 5 stars that I went through. There is Aloy, who is a 5-star, but we're not going to talk about her, right? But overall, if we look at the video, it's clear that I have a bias right now for Dendro teams, and I think honestly it's completely normal. Like, I don't really talk about myself too much on these videos, but I do have a tendency to burn out from stuff quickly. And honestly, Hoyoverse has been releasing a lot of Dendro characters, and because the reactions are so fun to play around, if there's some kind of a challenge or if there's some kind of a team I need to use, 90% of the time it's gonna be Dendro. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this biased take on the characters. This is really not a meta-analysis, once again I'm trying to remind you this, and it's just me giving my thought process of what I think about these characters. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Again, I'm super grateful to Prime Gaming for supporting this video, so if you want to grab some free Genshin loot or other great stuff they are offering, just go and sign up for the free Prime Gaming trial by using my link in the description or pinned comments. And actually, let me know which characters you've been using a lot recently, because I am interested to see which characters you've been using for the past few months. So let me know in the comments. And again, thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you soon.